Hey guys, Xander Holt here, the primal sex expert. And today is part one of a very special video series I'm making to help men help their women get in the mood and women help their men get in the mood. Okay, so this is going to give you superpowers. Most people have no idea about this information I'm about to give you. And so whether or not you're in a long-term relationship or you want to start a relationship or you just want to get better with the opposite sex, you want to pay close attention to this. Because what we're going to talk about today is lowering stress levels in men versus women. Because it's completely different. It's cortisol. Okay, cortisol is lowered in men versus women through completely different biochemicals. Let me explain that to you. Okay, so if we look at the adrenal gland, okay, it starts with cholesterol. Yes, cholesterol is important for sex hormones, which becomes pregnenolone. Now, depending on whether or not we're feeling good and we're relaxed and we're in our parasympathetic nervous system, then that pregnenolone gets converted into DHEA, which then can become either testosterone or estrogen. Yeah, that's what we want. Those are those sex hormones. But unfortunately, in our modern environment, in our modern world, we're mostly in a fight or flight response. We are under chronic stress. And that causes this pregnenolone to become progesterone, which then gets converted into cortisol. And that is the stress hormone. And because we got so much of this in our modern environment, it's really important that we learn not only how to lower it in ourselves, but in our partner. And like I said, the tricky thing is, and what most people don't know, is that this cortisol is lowered in men versus women through completely different biochemicals. For men, cortisol is lowered through testosterone. So we want good testosterone. And for your man, you want to help boost his testosterone to lower his cortisol. But for women, it's completely different. Testosterone helps with their libido if they're relaxed. But in order to get relaxed, to decrease this cortisol, it's oxytocin. They need oxytocin to lower their cortisol levels in order to get in the mood. Also to get interest in sex, they need oxytocin. We need oxytocin as men for rock-hard erections and orgasmic intensity. They also need it for orgasmic intensity, but they also need it just to lower their stress, just so they get in the mood. So, how do we do that? Well, first of all, as men and women, we come from a good place. We want to help each other from what helps us. So for men, we tend to try to solve the problem when a woman's talking to us. Because when you're solving a problem, it's boosting testosterone. It helps us lower our stress levels, right? Doesn't help them. You don't want to be solving their problem. You want to be listening and understanding from what they're saying. Just understanding, because that connects with them and that boosts oxytocin. That's what lowers their stress levels, okay? So just listening and connecting, okay? That will lower their stress levels and start getting them interested in sex. Another thing is touch. Touch is really important when it comes to oxytocin. So lots of touching, lots of hugging, lots of affection. And here's the deal though. I hear this from a lot of women, that guys only touch them when they want sex. Okay, so if you want to differentiate yourself from other guys, which you do, because otherwise you're going to get what other guys get, which is not a lot. So you want to give more non-sexual hugs than sexual hugs. So you want to make sure you're touching. I recommend at least a 5-to-1 ratio. At least 5 non-sexual hugs or non-sexual initiating hugs to 1 initiating hug. Now don't get all anal about that and, oh, this is the 6th time, the point is more touching and less without the need to have to escalate it. Because here's the thing too, is and touch her for your own pleasure. This is really important. When you touch her, get into it, man. I mean, feel her soft skin, smell her, and really get into the fact that you got this fantastic woman in your life. And make sounds. You know, we talk a lot about that in Rock Hard for Life formula because it's all about primal sex. So we make all these primal sounds in Rock Hard for Life formula. Use some of those sounds when you're hugging her. Okay, just like or you know, that type of stuff. It's amazing what that will do in terms of connection and triggering oxytocin. Okay, really powerful stuff. And we go way more into what you can do to turn your woman on in Rock Hard for Life formula because that's important so you have more sexual opportunities. Also keep in mind that it's a 1-to-1 ratio. So what I mean by that is that when you are doing things to display your affection, okay, that's like one boost of oxytocin. A dozen roses is one boost of oxytocin. One rose is one boost of oxytocin, right? So you're much better off giving one rose more frequently to get more boosts of oxytocin. Now that's an analogy, okay? It doesn't necessarily have to be roses. It can be these hugs, but I'm saying is that more often means more boosts, okay? And it's not just bringing her cortisol level down, which is essential to get her in the mood, but it's been shown that oxytocin is important in women having interest in sex at all. And the way that a woman's arousal happens is a lot different from man's, right? We're more like kindling. Our arousal comes up really quickly, but it can also burn out really quickly. Where for women, it's more like a log. It takes a while to get it burning, but once it's burning, it stays burnt. It stays burning for longer, and it can get raging. Well, if you want to get that raging, you know, get more arousal, get her thinking about it more. You know, when you hug her, you're not necessarily initiating sex, but you can make her wish you initiated sex, you know, by really enjoying it, making those sounds, but then walking away and making her think, man, you know, I kind of wish he would have started something. And now her mind starts thinking about the sex, starts thinking about the intimacy. And sex is really all in the mind, particularly for women. All right, tune in for the next video, which is going to be more about helping your man with his arousal levels and bringing his stress levels down. I recommend each couple watch both of these videos, though. It's really much more powerful when you're both on board with this knowledge. All right, until next time, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go to and like this video. Please share this video with people you know would benefit from it. And go to our free Facebook group if you're a guy, and Rock Hard for Life, and join, where we talk much more about primal sex, lasting as long as you want, and getting consistent, natural, stage 4 rock hard erections. Until next time, go be a beast.